Jack Hayes stood at the edge of the mining pit, watching humans dig for the strange blue metal the Zarkeen demanded. 5 years had passed since the aliens arrived. 5 years since Earth's military forces fell in just 3 days. Now Jack, once a proud Navy commander, served as nothing more than a human overseer for alien masters. Work faster, the Zarkeen supervisor clicked through its translation device. The tall, 6-limbed alien skin shimmered with an oily purple shine under the Colorado sun. Production quotas increased by 15% today. These people are already working 12-hour shifts, Jack said, keeping his voice level. He had learned that showing anger only made things worse. They need water and rest breaks. The Zarkeen's compound eyes flickered with blue light, their version of amusement. Humans, so fragile, so inefficient. It waved 2 of its upper limbs dismissively. 1 break in 4 hours. No more. Jack clenched his jaw, but nodded. As the alien moved away, he watched the miners, teachers, lawyers, and store clerks before the invasion continue to chip away at the Earth. Their faces showed the same hollow acceptance he saw everywhere now. His communication device buzzed. A text message from an unknown sender. Meet me. Old Science Building. Denver University. 8 p.m. Vital information. Come alone. LLM. Jack deleted the message immediately. The Zarkeen monitored all official channels, but the resistance had created a simple system that bounced signals between old cell towers. Still, caution was necessary. At dusk, Jack drove his authorized vehicle, a privilege granted to human liaisons, toward Denver. The city's skyline was forever changed by the looming Zarkeen command center that had replaced the downtown area. Its twisted metal spires reached into the clouds, glowing with eerie blue light. The university campus was dark and empty. Most educational buildings had been converted to alien research facilities. Jack moved carefully through the shadows until he reached the old science building. "Hello," he called softly, entering the dusty lobby. "Over here." A woman stepped from behind a fallen bookshelf. "I'm Lisa Morgan. I work at the Zarkeen Research Facility in Boulder." Jack studied her. Mid-30s, thin, with short brown hair and the tired eyes everyone had these days. She wore the gray uniform of humans permitted to assist with alien technology. "What's this about?" he asked. Lisa pulled out a small device and activated it. "Signal jammer. We have about 5 minutes before they notice." She handed him a data tablet. "Look at this." The screen showed complex charts and diagrams. Jack recognized Earth's core structure from his Navy training days. "They're mining specific elements from deep in the crust," Lisa explained, pointing to red areas on the diagram. "The rate they're extracting will destabilize the planet's core within 7 to 10 years. Earth will become uninhabitable, possibly break apart completely." Jack felt the blood drain from his face. "Are you certain?" Lisa nodded. "I've been analyzing their extraction data for months. They classify us as a Type 3 expendable resource world. They'd done this before to other planets." "Why are you telling me this?" Jack asked, though he already knew the answer. "Because you still have connections with former military personnel. And because the Zarkeen trust you enough that you have access to their mining operations." Lisa's eyes shone with fierce determination. "There's a resistance growing. Small cells working independently. But we need coordination, leadership. The aliens' technology is too advanced," Jack said, voicing the thought that had crushed human hope for years. "We can't fight them." "Maybe not with direct force," Lisa agreed. "But I've discovered something else." She switched screens on the tablet. "Their neural systems have a specific frequency pattern. It might be a weakness we can exploit." Jack stared at the data, feeling something he hadn't felt in years, a tiny spark of hope. "There's a larger group," Lisa continued, "hidden beneath Chicago. They're gathering alien tech, studying it. They need this information, and they need people like you." The jammer beeped softly. "Time's up," Lisa said, taking back the tablet. The mining operation in Montana is a cover. They're actually building something huge underground there. We need to find out what. I'll need time to think, Jack said. Lisa nodded. You have until tomorrow night. Then I'm heading to Chicago. She slipped the jammer in her pocket. The question is, are you coming with me? The journey to Chicago took 3 days. Jack and Lisa traveled at night, hiding during daylight hours to avoid Zarkine patrols. They used abandoned subway tunnels and sewer systems to enter the ruined city undetected. Chicago had suffered badly during the initial invasion. The downtown area was mostly rubble now, with alien mining equipment scattered throughout. The few buildings still standing were used as processing centers, where humans sorted materials for transport to Zarkine ships. This way, Lisa whispered, guiding Jack down a maintenance shaft in what had once been a subway station. She knocked on a rusty door in a pattern. 3 quick taps, pause, 2 slow taps. The door opened to reveal a bearded man holding a makeshift weapon. Password? He asked. Earthlight rising, Lisa replied. The man nodded and stepped aside. Welcome back, Lisa. This the Navy guy. This is Jack Hayes, she confirmed. Jack followed Lisa through the door into a vast underground space. The old maintenance area had been transformed into a small community. About 50 people moved around the room, working at tables covered with electronics, studying maps on walls, or cleaning weapons. It's bigger than I expected, Jack said, taking in the scene. A woman approached them. She was tall and muscular, with short gray hair and a scar across her left cheek. I'm Samantha Wells, former Army Special Forces. I lead this cell. She extended her hand, and Jack shook it, feeling a firm grip. Jack Hayes, former Navy commander. Lisa told us about you. Said you have direct access to Zarkine mining operations. Jack nodded, and she showed me what they're doing to the planet. Samantha motioned for them to follow her to a table in the corner where maps and diagrams were spread out. We've been gathering intelligence and equipment for almost 3 years now, she explained. Small victories, intercepting supply shipments, rescuing humans from processing centers. But nothing that really hurts them. Until now, Lisa said, pulling out her tablet. Show them what we found. Jack watched as Lisa connected her tablet to their system. The schematic she had stolen appeared on a large screen. These are complete layouts of Zarkine battlecruisers, Lisa explained to the group gathering around them. And this, she pointed to a complex diagram, is their neural command network. A thin man with glasses pushed forward. I'm Alan Fisher. I was developing neural interfaces for the military before the invasion. This is incredible. Can you make sense of it? Samantha asked. Alan studied the diagram, his eyes wide with excitement. It's like nothing I've seen before. Their entire ship systems are connected through this biological technological interface. It's not just computers, it's partially organic. What does that mean for us? Jack asked. It means they might be vulnerable to the right kind of disruption, Alan replied. Something that affects both biological and technological systems. Like a virus, Samantha suggested. Alan nodded slowly. Yes, but not just any virus. Something that targets their specific neural patterns. Lisa pointed to another file on the screen. I also managed to copy these detailed scans of Zarkine biology. Their nervous systems operate on frequencies very different from ours. That could be why they keep us separate from their technology, Jack realized. Our neural patterns might interfere with theirs. Alan was already downloading the data to his own device. I need to study this. If we could create something that disrupts their neural network, we'd need access to their central communication hub, Samantha said, turning to a map of what used to be Seattle. The largest one on the continent is here. I know someone who works in the human maintenance crew there, Jack said. A man named Kevin Daniels, former Special Forces, like you. He could help us get in. Samantha studied Jack's face. You're suggesting we try to infiltrate their main hub. That's suicide. Not if we have the right plan, Jack replied. And the right weapon. Alan looked up from the data. I think I can create something that would temporarily disable their neural networks. A kind of electromagnetic pulse, but specifically tuned to their biology. It wouldn't harm humans. How long? Samantha asked. A week. Maybe 2, Alan answered. Samantha turned to the assembled group. Then we have 2 weeks to plan the most important mission of our lives. If we succeed, we'll have our first real chance against the Zarkeen. Jack felt a strange sensation in his chest, something he hadn't experienced since before the invasion. It was hope, mixed with determination, and the possibility of a future worth fighting for. Kevin Daniels had been cleaning Zarkeen communication equipment for 3 years. The aliens thought humans were too simple to understand their technology. They were wrong. Kevin had been memorizing details about their systems since day one. When Jack contacted him through the Resistance Network, Kevin was ready. Now he stood in the shadows of the Seattle Processing Center, waiting for his signal. Team 1 in position, came the whisper through his earpiece. Team 2 ready, another voice confirmed. Kevin checked his watch. Beginning in 3 minutes. Back in the Chicago base, Alan Fisher made final adjustments to his device. The metal cylinder was smaller than a water bottle, but contained technology that might change the course of humanity's future. The virus is coded to target their specific neural patterns, Alan explained to Samantha and Lisa. It won't permanently damage their systems, but it should disrupt communications for about 30 minutes. Will that be enough time? Samantha asked, looking at the map of Seattle. It has to be, Lisa answered. Kevin and his team need to plant the secondary devices in 3 locations. Once activated, those will extend the disruption for several hours. Jack entered the room, carrying modified weapons. These are ready. We've adapted Zarkeen hand weapons to work with human neural patterns. Samantha picked up one of the weapons. It felt warm in her hand, pulsing slightly. How did you manage this? Lisa discovered that their weapons have safety features, Jack explained. They're coded to work only with Zarkeen neural signatures. But when we reversed the polarity, they work for us, but not for them, Lisa finished. It's not perfect. The power cells drain faster, but they work. In Seattle, Kevin received a message. All teams go. He took a deep breath and slipped from his hiding place. 2 other maintenance workers followed him. They wore the gray uniforms of human workers, but underneath they carried Alan's devices. Kevin approached the main entrance to the communication hub. A Zarkeen guard watched with 4 compound eyes. Scheduled cleaning, Kevin said, showing his work order. The alien's mandibles clicked. Proceed. No access to levels 3 or 4. Understood, Kevin replied, lowering his eyes as humans were expected to do. Once inside, Kevin and his team moved quickly. They reached a maintenance panel near the central processing room. Begin Phase 1, Kevin whispered into his communicator. Across the city, 2 other teams moved into position. One entered a power distribution center, the other approached a smaller communication relay station. Kevin carefully opened the panel and placed Alan's device inside. He connected it to the glowing neural fibers that ran through all Zarkeen technology. Device 1 in place, he reported. Activating in 3, 2, 1. He pressed the activation button. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a high-pitched sound filled the air. The Zarkeen guards began to twitch, dropping their weapons and clutching their heads with multiple limbs. The lights in the facility flickered. Alien computer screens filled with strange patterns. It's working, Kevin whispered. Move to Phase 2. The other teams reported success. Their devices were active too. Kevin's team moved deeper into the facility, stepping past confused and disoriented aliens. They reached the central control room, where a large Zarkeen commander writhed on the floor. Plant the secondary devices, Kevin ordered. His team worked quickly, attaching smaller devices to key points in the room. Each one would extend the disruption effect, and spread it through connected systems. All devices planted, one of his team members reported. Kevin nodded. Let's move to extraction point. Outside, chaos had spread through the city. Zarkeen soldiers stumbled through streets, unable to coordinate. Their vehicles drifted aimlessly or crashed into buildings. For the first time in 5 years, the aliens were vulnerable. In Chicago, the resistance watched through hacked surveillance feeds. It worked. Alan whispered, his eyes wide with disbelief. It actually worked. Samantha turned to Jack and Lisa. Phase 3. Send the signal to all resistance cells in the region. Tell them, Operation Trojan Horse is successful. Begin the attacks. Jack sent the message that would launch simultaneous strikes on Zarkeen positions across the Pacific Northwest. For the first time since the invasion, humans were fighting back and winning. This is just the beginning, Samantha said quietly. They've never seen what humans can really do. News of the Seattle victory spread through hidden human networks like wildfire. Within days, resistance cells across North America were using the same tactics. The Zarkeen, for the first time, were on the defensive. Jack stood on a hill overlooking what was once Portland. Below, humans moved through the streets freely. 3 days had passed since they had taken control of the city. Zarkeen bodies lay where they had fallen. We've secured the western perimeter, Samantha said, joining him. The alien reinforcements tried to break through last night, but our teams were ready. How many weapons have we captured? Jack asked. Over 200 handheld units, 30 vehicle-mounted cannons, and best of all, Samantha smiled, pointing to the sky where a sleek, oval-shaped craft hovered. One battlecruiser, mostly intact. The battlecruiser had been grounded during the initial attack. Its crew, disoriented by the neural disruptor, had been unable to defend it. Now it belonged to the resistance. Lisa and Alan are studying it. Samantha continued. They say we might be able to fly it soon. What about the prisoners? Jack asked. That's why I came to find you. One of them is talking. I think you should hear this. They walked to a secure building that had once been a bank. In the vault, 3 Zarkeen sat in makeshift cells. Unlike humans, the aliens could not survive long without connection to their collective neural network. They were already showing signs of distress. A smaller Zarkeen with pale purple skin clicked its mandibles as Jack entered. Alan sat nearby with a translation device. This one is a science officer, Alan explained. More willing to communicate than the soldiers. Ask it about their plans for Earth, Jack said. Alan spoke into the translator. The alien's response came through as flat, mechanical English. Your world is Type 3 expendable. Resource extraction priority only. No preservation protocols. We already knew that, Samantha said. Ask it about their weaknesses. The alien's compound eyes flickered rapidly when Alan translated the question. It remained silent for a long moment before answering. No species has ever hijacked our technology before. No species has survived beyond initial resistance. You are unexpected. Jack leaned closer. What does that mean? Have other species fought back? The alien's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of distress. 17 worlds conquered. Some resistance on 12 worlds. None successful. None able to use our weapons against us. Your neural patterns should not be compatible. But they are, Alan said, excitement in his voice. That's why their safety systems don't work against us. Our brains process electrical signals differently. The alien's next words stunned them all. Command is concerned. Humans adapt too quickly. Orders sent to destroy all major cities rather than risk further technology capture. They're going to bomb our cities, Samantha asked, horror in her voice. Orbital strikes planned. 3 planetary cycles to prepare. That's 3 days, Alan translated. Jack turned to Samantha. We need to warn everyone. And we need to get that battlecruiser working now. Outside, they quickly gathered the resistance leaders. If we can fly their ship, we might be able to intercept the orbital strikes, Jack explained. Lisa nodded. The propulsion systems are operational. We've figured out basic navigation. Weapons are more complicated, but Kevin's team is making progress. What about their flagship in orbit? Someone asked. Even with one battlecruiser, we can't fight that. Maybe we don't need to fight it directly, Jack said slowly. If we can get close enough to deploy Alan's neural disruptor, we'd need to modify it to affect a much larger area, Alan said. Can you do it? Samantha asked. Alan thought for a moment. Yes. With the parts from the battlecruiser, I can create a more powerful version. Then that's our plan, Jack said. We take the fight to them. As the meeting broke up, Lisa approached Jack privately. There's something else. The alien prisoners seem afraid of us now. Not just worried, actually afraid. Afraid? Of humans? Jack couldn't believe it. The way they look at us has changed. I think we surprised them. They expected us to give up or die fighting. They never expected us to turn their own technology against them. For the first time in 5 years, Jack felt a smile form on his face. Then let's show them what else humans can do. The captured battlecruiser hung in the air above the former Portland. Its purple metal skin gleamed in the morning sun. Humans had painted a simple message on its side. Earth fights back. Inside the ship, Lisa worked with Alan to modify the neural disruptor. Their plan was bold but dangerous. They would fly the ship into orbit and release the disruptor near the Zarkeen flagship. Will this really work on their main ship? Lisa asked, connecting wires to the device. Alan adjusted his glasses. In theory, yes. Their neural network connects all their ships. If we can disrupt the flagship, the effect should cascade to all Zarkeen forces in orbit. On the bridge, Jack and Kevin learned to control the alien vessel. The neural interface was designed for Zarkeen minds, but humans had found ways to bypass it. The weapons systems are online, Kevin reported. We got 6 main cannons and a full load of what seemed to be missiles. Jack nodded. Good work. How many people can we fit on board? About 60, comfortably. We've converted 2 storage areas into crew quarters. Word of their plans spread through resistance networks worldwide. In hidden bases across the planet, humans prepared for a coordinated attack. When the neural disruptor hit the Zarkeen flagship, resistance cells would strike alien bases simultaneously. Martha Chen led the Asian resistance from a hidden base in the mountains of Japan. Carlos Rodriguez coordinated South American forces from deep in the Amazon. For the first time, humanity fought as one. 2 days later, the battlecruiser was ready. 60 volunteers, former pilots, engineers, and soldiers, prepared for the mission. They might not return, but Earth's future depended on their success. We launch in 1 hour, Jack announced to the crew. Our mission is to get close enough to the flagship to deploy the neural disruptor. Once it's active, we'll have about 30 minutes to do as much damage as possible before they recover. Samantha would remain on Earth to coordinate the ground attacks. Before Jack boarded the ship, she handed him a small flag, the old symbol of the United Nations. Bring this back, she said. We'll need it when we start rebuilding. The battlecruiser rose slowly into the sky. Humans below watched with hope and fear. As it climbed higher, the blue sky darkened to black. Soon, Earth hung below them like a blue and white jewel. Multiple contacts ahead, Kevin warned. Zarkeen patrol ships. Do they see us? Jack asked. I don't think so. Our ship reads as friendly on their systems. The battlecruiser moved closer to the massive Zarkeen flagship. The enormous vessel was 10 times their size, shaped like a giant purple star with curved arms extending outward. We're in range, Alan announced from the engine room. The neural disruptor is ready. Jack took a deep breath, launched the disruptor. A small pod ejected from the battlecruiser, drifting toward the flagship. For a tense minute, nothing happened. Then a pulse of blue energy erupted from the pod, washing over the flagship. The effect was immediate. The great ship's lights flickered. Its movement became erratic. Smaller vessels nearby began to drift aimlessly. It worked. Lisa shouted over the communicator. Their systems are disrupted. All weapons, fire on the flagship's engine section. Jack ordered. The human-controlled battlecruiser unleashed its weapons. Beams of energy struck the flagship, cutting into its hull. Explosions bloomed in silence against the blackness of space. On Earth, resistance forces received the signal. Operation Skyfall successful. Begin ground attack. From Chicago to Beijing, from London to Rio, humans rose up against confused and disoriented aliens. Zarkeen bases fell one by one as their neural networks failed. In orbit, the flagship began to break apart. Its central section erupted in flames that quickly died in the vacuum of space. "They're sending a message," Lisa called from the communication station, broadcasting on all frequencies. The translator converted the alien language. "Earth forces too unpredictable. Tactical retreat authorized. All units disengage." For the first time in the history of the Zarkeen Collective, they were running away. 3 months passed since the day the Zarkeen flagship exploded in orbit. Around the world, humans had taken back control of their planet. The aliens retreated to a few isolated bases, desperately sending signals into space for help. Jack stood on the roof of a rebuilt building in Chicago, watching as 3 more human-modified battlecruisers rose into the morning sky. Earth now had a fleet of 12 ships, all taken from the Zarkeen and adapted for human use. Admiral Hayes, Samantha called from behind him. Like many resistance leaders, she now held an official title in the new United Earth Defense Force. The Council is waiting. Inside, representatives from every major region on Earth gathered around a large table. Maps and diagrams covered the walls. At the center of the table sat a holographic display showing the solar system. The long-range sensors we salvaged from their bases show a large fleet approaching, Martha Chen reported. She now commanded Earth's early warning systems. At least 30 battlecruisers. They'll reach us in 2 days. Do we evacuate the cities? Carlos Rodriguez asked. Move people underground. Jack shook his head. No, we fight them in space, before they get close to Earth. With 12 ships against 30. Someone asked. That's suicide. Not if we use what we've learned about them, Lisa said. She stepped forward with Alan. Both wore the blue uniforms of the science division. We've discovered something important in their database. Alan activated a hologram showing Zarkeen biology. Their neural networks make them strong when things go well, but vulnerable when things go wrong. They share a collective consciousness. When one experiences fear, they all do. And they fear us now, Lisa added. The captured communications show they consider humans a special threat. They've never encountered a species that could adapt their technology and use it against them so quickly. So what's the plan? Samantha asked. We use their fear against them, Jack replied. We've modified the neural disruptors to send specific signals rather than just disruption. What kind of signals? Martha asked. Fear, Alan explained. Pure, concentrated fear. We captured their emotional responses during our victories. We can project those feelings back at them, amplified. The Council discussed the plan for hours. In the end, they agreed. Earth would meet the Zarkeen fleet with a new weapon, their own fear. 2 days later, Jack stood on the bridge of the largest human-controlled battlecruiser. They had named it Hope. 11 other ships formed a defensive line between Earth and the approaching alien fleet. Zarkeen fleet dropping out of faster-than-light travel, Kevin reported from the sensor station. 32 ships, standard attack formation. They're broadcasting a message, Lisa said from communications. The alien voice came through the translator. Human resistance, surrender your stolen vessels. Your planet will be sterilized as punishment for rebellion. There will be no further communication. Jack looked at his crew, humans from different countries, backgrounds, and skills, all united to protect their home. Prepare the fear projectors, he ordered. All ships, hold position until my mark. The Zarkeen fleet approached in a wedge formation, their weapons powered up, glowing with purple energy. "They're in range," Kevin reported. Jack took a deep breath. "All ships, activate fear projectors." Invisible waves pulsed from the human fleet, carrying the emotional signatures of terrified Zarkeen. The aliens had built their neural networks to share information and strength, but now those same networks carried fear to every ship in their fleet. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Zarkeen ships began to break formation. Some fired weapons randomly into space. Others turned and collided with their own allies. "It's working," Lisa shouted. "Their neural networks are amplifying the fear signals." "All ships, advance and fire," Jack ordered. The 12 Earth ships moved forward, weapons blazing. The Zarkeen, already in disarray, couldn't mount an effective defense. Ship after ship exploded or retreated. Within an hour, half the alien fleet was destroyed. The rest jumped back into faster-than-light travel, fleeing from the planet they had once conquered so easily. "They're running," Kevin said in disbelief. "We won." Jack shook his head. "No, this was just the beginning. Now we take the fight to them." 1 year after the Great Space Battle, Earth had changed completely. Cities were being rebuilt. Alien technology was studied and improved upon. The scars of invasion slowly healed as humanity looked to the stars with new purpose. At the launch facility outside New Denver, crowds gathered to witness history. 5 massive ships stood ready on the launch pads, the first vessels entirely designed and built by humans, using what they had learned from Zarkeen technology. Admiral Jack Hayes walked through the main ship, named Unity. Unlike the alien vessels, these ships were built for human comfort with wider corridors and Earth-normal gravity. The walls were painted in calm blues and greens instead of the Zarkeen's harsh purples. "Final systems check complete," Lisa reported. Now Chief Science Officer, she had overseen the development of the new fleet. "All ships report ready for launch." Jack nodded. "And the crew?" 200 on each ship, the best from around the world. They walked to the bridge where Kevin waited at the pilot's station. Alan sat nearby at a console marked Special Systems. "The improved neural disruptors are installed on all ships," Alan explained. "And we've added something new, a communication system that can transmit directly to the freed slaves on Zarkeen worlds." From captured databases, they had learned the terrible truth. Earth was just one of many worlds conquered by the Zarkeen. 17 other species had been enslaved, their resources stripped, their people worked to death in mines and factories. "The mission is clear," Jack addressed the crew. "We find the Zarkeen homeworld. We free their slaves. We end their empire forever." "And if we can't defeat them?" someone asked. "We will," Jack said simply. "They fear us now. And they're right to be afraid." On a large screen, the United Earth Council appeared. Representatives from every nation watched as Jack gave the final launch confirmation. "Good luck, Admiral Hayes," Samantha said. Now the Chief of Earth Defense, she would protect their home while they ventured into deep space. "Bring our people back safely." "We will," Jack promised. "And we'll bring freedom to others." The countdown began. Across the world, people watched on screens and holographic displays. The moment represented more than just a space mission. It was humanity's declaration that they would never be victims again. The 5 ships rose on columns of blue flame, breaking free of Earth's gravity. In orbit, they aligned in formation before activating their faster-than-light drives. In flashes of brilliant light, they vanished into the depths of space. 6 months into their journey, the fleet approached a red giant star. According to the alien database, this system contained a mining world with thousands of enslaved beings from various conquered planets. "We're picking up Zarkeen communications," Lisa reported. They're talking about us." Jack leaned forward. "What are they saying?" "It's strange. They're using a new term." Lisa listened through her translator. "They're calling us the nightmare species. They're warning all ships to avoid human-controlled space. There are even reports of Zarkeen ships abandoning outposts at just the rumor of human ships approaching. The bridge crew exchanged looks of amazement. The mighty Zarkeen, who had conquered 17 worlds, now fled at the mere mention of humans. "Prepare the liberation force," Jack ordered, "and ready the neural disruptors." As the fleet approached the mining planet, they detected something unexpected. The Zarkeen ships in orbit were already leaving, abandoning their base at the first sign of Earth vessels. "They're running away," Kevin said in disbelief. "Of course they are," Alan replied with a smile. "They've learned what happens when humans fight back." Jack watched as the alien ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving their enslaved workers behind. Soon, those slaves would be free. Soon, the other conquered worlds would learn that help had arrived. The species that had once viewed humans as primitive and weak now fled in terror at their approach. The hunters had become the hunted. The conquerors now lived in fear of the conquered. Humanity had not only survived, they had become the most feared species in the galaxy. Not because they were cruel or violent, but because they had done what no other species could do. They had taken the Zarkeen's greatest strengths and turned them into weaknesses. As Jack looked at the abandoned alien base, he felt not pride, but resolve. The real mission was just beginning, to build a galaxy where no species would ever enslave another again.